Welcome, Exiles, to the Dark Pact Occultist, finally realized in-game. Took me a bit to get it together because of, I just haven't really been able to play much the past few days, and so I finally got the gear assembled. I've ran like maybe 10 to 15 maps, and I'm just excited to show you guys what the character looks like. I'm going to go ahead and go straight into an Enslaver, and basically just walk and talk while we're playing the character, while we're going through the maps. That way you can, I guess, enjoy some gameplay, and I can just describe the character to you. So, to start things off, we got to 74 spell block and 64 attack block, I believe, and then we're block capped once we click on roomies, so that feels pretty nice. Our single target, I think, is decent. We're at a few million, 3 or 4, something like that, and it can get better. Ultimately, I went for a Divine Flesh in the spot I was mentioning around Templar, and I thought it was solid, but the notables I was getting they're not great. They're kind of funny. They're like a triple block notable, which helps us get attack block, but I think sacrificing that attack block, getting back a power charge, putting the Divine Flesh in a better spot, saving some passives, then putting those passives into some other damage nodes will ultimately end up netting us quite a bit more damage, like 50 to 100% more damage than we have currently, which will start getting this DPS at a serious level. Our total investment to this character so far is about 15x. I probably could have shaved that down to about 10 and had a pretty similar result due to not investing my currency really the greatest, but overall I'm a lot happier with where this character is at compared to for sure, like the strength stacking Zerger. I just spent so much money on that character. I don't think I was putting money in the right places, and this character I feel like I've done a lot better at putting the currency in, I guess, decent locations. We have 7 power charges. That's because we're missing the one here, which I've talked about. We can swap that in and get more damage into our character. And then other things I'll mention that I found interesting. Crown of the Tyrant. I didn't realize this helmet came with 170 flat life. Roll is like the top roll, but it does, which is actually like really, really good. So that for 1.5x felt like a decent helmet investment compared to like the other options that are out there. And then there you go. That's the first phase down. He hit us with Ignite. I should have been paying attention to that and removed it with my mana flask. I really wasn't. Now we're back into the thick of it, hopefully. And we're down to the next phase. We're gonna have a double boss phase, I'm pretty sure. And I think he hit me with Ignite again. I think I actually rolled gain. This is extra fire, so I think they're igniting me. So I probably should be a little bit more careful of that and making sure to use my flask. But our block is really, between block, our petrified blood, we're really quite tanky in how much damage we can just absorb, and it feels fine. So even though I wasn't really paying attention with my mana flask to remove the Ignite, you could tell I still had kind of a lot of time there to react and press it and to remove the Ignite type of thing. For bleed and poison, the other ailments that are really dangerous to us, I ended up going with 100% bleed avoidance via grabbing the tolerance cluster. This gives us 60% chance to avoid bleed. And then with just one Abyssal Jewel, we get another 40% bleed avoidance. So that caps our bleed avoid. You can get away with just Corrupted Blood plus bleed avoid, and then getting bleed avoid on one of the 4 other rare jewels or our Watcher's Eye, or you can even get it on the Glorious Vanity. So even though we have a 2-stat here, it costs us 20C, you could very easily just sacrifice a little bit to still get that 40% avoid bleed to cap your bleed avoidance, which didn't feel like too much of an investment and ended up feeling pretty good. Our most expensive gear pieces are probably our rare chest and our Stygian Vise, because a Hunter's Exalt is like 1.2, 1.3x, and then I went the extra mile of doing a Prefixes Can't Be Changed plus a Veiled Chaos. Maybe not the best choice to get stats, because I think res would probably be better, but ultimately just basically fixing our attributes and stats, or not our attributes and stats, fixing our resistances with just some okay rings with cast speed and life and some res. And then for our glove and boots, it was all about just throwing some cheaper essences till we hit okay mods like double res and double res and life. And then for our boots, I spent a little bit extra going for a Suffixes Can't Be Changed plus a Veiled Chaos, just to force on a movement speed mod when that would allow me to then craft a life roll. Other things in the character we have is we have Wrathpith Globe, which lets us scale percent spell damage with our life as well as percent crit, so that works out great. We have Rare Amulet Ring. Everything's rare except for basically Wrathpith and Void Battery. I do plan to swap this Divine Flesh over to here, which will give us another power charge, which will give us more scaling from Void Battery, as well as more scaling from being Occultist, more scaling from the power charge nodes, stuff like that. I think I've covered most of the gear. For Cluster Jewels, we spent, I think it was a 1x cluster or 100C or something like that to get Conjured Wall plus Mage Hunter on the travel passives. This just gives us like 10 block here for spell, so it helps us get that cap spell block while also giving us 2 jewel sockets and saving us some passives on investing into, I guess, another block wheel, which would have been okay to do if we wanted to save a lot more currency, but I think this works pretty well. Yeah, that covers that. Our character has freeze immunity from Arctic Armor combined with freeze prolif from our gloves, which means Arctic Armor says if you have the all quality that's pretty cheap, it's like 8C or something like that, 20% chance to freeze enemies when they hit you. That means if you have a pack of monsters that are all launching attacks, 1 out of 5 attacks will freeze basically that entire pack. Feels really great, really smooth while mapping. Then we have a shock immunity from Tempest Shield, and then chill immunity from our boots. Ultimately, if I did the Veiled Chaos and it gave me a movement speed other than chill immunity, I want to say I would still probably grab, well, the other ones are Onslaught and the other ones are good movement speed, so I might just keep it. I guess if I didn't get chill immunity, I'd be more tempted to do Soul of Brine King instead of our Akali, but not 100% sure on that, because chill can be pretty annoying. I definitely would like to have a reduced effect on that. And then Petrified Blood, of course, for the damage mitigation that I mentioned in my Dissolution of Flesh video. We also have we don't have an enchant. I was going to say we have level 1 Precision, just so we can get a 30C jewel that has life plus what would be double crit multi, which would normally be a little bit more expensive. And by a little bit, I mean it would probably be a couple X, maybe 3 or 4X or something. So paying 30C, spending 1 jewel passive on getting a level 1 Precision in felt like a good idea to me. So that's where the character is currently. And tomorrow, hopefully, or by tomorrow, I mean, actually it'll be today, because I'll probably schedule this to upload or go live today. We'll actually be playing this character, and hopefully we'll be min-maxing it a little bit more. And then in the future, I will do probably a final update video when I've actually swapped this around, swapped some of my passives, min-maxed it a little bit more, and actually started running a significant amount more content now that I actually have the character up and running. I was just happy that I got it up and running to just run a few maps and then showcase where we're at with it. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully this is a nice, I guess, teaser for what you can do with Dissolution of Flesh so far, and I'm enjoying it a decent amount. Thank you as always for watching. Take care, Exiles.